Hello, and welcome to another episode of Redcast Gaming Talk. Here I am, back with another in this series of me talking about the forgotten Transformers video games. This episode is sort of sticking to the theme of the first one. That means I'm going to be talking about another really lesser known version of the Transformers War for Cybertron video game. This time I will be talking about the Nintendo Wii port of this game. And so, here is everything that you may want to know about Transformers Cybertron Adventures for the Nintendo Wii. Transformers Cybertron Adventures released in North America on June 22nd, 2010, which does coincide with all the other versions of the game. Cybertron Adventures is developed by Next Level Games, which is different from the Nintendo DS version, being developed by Vicarious Visions, and of course different from the regular versions of the game, being developed by High Moon Studios. There are some notable things that set Cybertron Adventures apart from the other versions of the game. The first is that it is not a third-person shooter, but it is instead an on-rails shooter. This means that the player would defeat a group of enemies from cover positions before moving on to the next position along a predefined path. Occasionally, to spice things up, you'll transform and have to reach the next point by going through obstacles that are in the way. There are 4 weapons that are common to all 12 of the playable characters, and the player can get a score multiplier ranging from ×2 to ×5 depending on how many enemies are killed. However, taking cover causes the player to lose said multiplier. Speaking of the 12 playable characters, let's go over that, starting with the Decepticons. For Decepticons, we have Barricade, Megatron, Skywarp, Soundwave, Starscream, and Thundercracker. For Autobots, we have Air Raid, Bumblebee, Ironhide, Jetfire, Optimus Prime, and Sideswipe. Definitely not as many characters as the other versions of the game, and also no exclusive characters like the Nintendo DS versions have. Now it's time to get into the story. One similarity to the regular version of the game is that there is in fact an Autobot campaign and a Decepticon campaign. So let's start with a short version of the Decepticon campaign. During the Trypticon attack on Iacon, Megatron hunts down surviving Autobots, defeats Ratchet, Starscream sent to protect Energon relay stations, Soundwave and Barricade intercept infiltration of Kaon, Bee and Ironhide are captured, Skywarp sent to attack various locations within Iacon, Starscream sent to repair Trypticon's damaged Energon bridge, Decepticons launch full-scale assault on Iacon, Thundercracker sent to place homing devices on escaping Autobot ships, Trypticon fails to shoot down Autobot Council ship, is sabotaged and made vulnerable by the Autobots, Megatron salvages Trypticon's data core once he realizes that he cannot fend all the Autobots off himself. Trypticon finished off by Autobots, salvaged data core has secrets to Dark Energon. And now here is the short version of the Autobot campaign. Autobots attempt to fend off Trypticon attack on Iacon, Sideswipe looks for survivors at Blast Site, rescues Ratchet, Bumblebee and Ironhide sent to Kaon for intel on Trypticon, get caught and imprisoned, escaped with the help of Air Raid. Ironhide reports that Trypticon is spreading Dark Energon through Cybertron's core. Air Raid sent to Planet Core to sabotage Energon Bridge. Decepticons attack Iacon. Bumblebee escorts a supply convoy. Air Raid fights Decepticon Seekers led by Skywarp and Thundercracker, whom are defeated. Jetfire is sent to destroy relay stations to Trypticon. Trypticon crashes to planet surface. Optimus Prime leads final attack on Trypticon and kills him. Spread of Dark Energon stopped. Now, the Autobot campaign sounds very close to how it is in regular versions of the game, but missing a few of the levels. The Decepticon campaign seems very different from how it is in the regular game, since so much of it relies on Trypticon, which, that character is not in the regular game till like the very last few levels, of the Decepticon campaign anyway. No, it's not even in the Decepticon campaign. It's like the last levels of the Autobot campaign. To be honest, I am amazed that they were able to get a port of War for Cybertron working on the Nintendo Wii at all. I feel like that perhaps if things were not so centered on such a big character like Trypticon, they could have done more, perhaps even made it a proper third-person shooter. The fact that it's an on-rails shooter really kind of sucks, since I feel like people who play this version are missing out on the true experience of War for Cybertron. It's kind of sad that something like the Nintendo DS versions of this game are better than the Nintendo Wii version. That's all I have to say, so if you want to add to the conversation, leave a comment below. As always, thanks for listening, and goodbye.